Oh. For this introduction of a very, very large and complex issue in just a few minutes' time. I would then like to invite or welcome the panel which we have invited to give a view from the Cleantech industry, or from the key stakeholders, so to speak, in this industry and process, where we have representing the entrepreneurs, Svante Bengtsson of Rehact, CEO of Rehact, and one of the climate solver companies selected in the first round last year. We have Pat Burtis from Amadeus Capital in London, representing the private investor side of perspective in these issues. We have Christian Kornevall from World Business Council for Sustainable Development, based in Geneva, working partly on a project for energy efficiency in buildings. And Igor Jelinski from the European Commission's DG Environment, and working in the Environmental Technology Action Plan. And we're very happy to have you here and hear a little bit about your views on this subject. And I would like to start by putting a first question to Svante. If we frame this discussion about what does this mean to Cleantech, to the Cleantech industry, in terms of three subtopics. Capacity, if we have these new sums of money going into solving the climate issue, capacity, cooperation globally, and of course capital. So Svante, in terms of capacity, what would it mean if an agreement came in place? If we assume an agreement came in place in Copenhagen, or maybe later, as a challenge and opportunity for you as an entrepreneur?
That kind of money is, of course, $160 billion. It's a lot of money, and as I hope it will go not only to research, but the development of actual business. Because right now what we're experiencing is that there is pretty good support for the research, and there is pretty good investments for later stage when you're in revenue, but there is very little support when you're in seed funding, or when you actually have a product that you want to get out and start to sell. So I'm hoping that the government also not only dedicate the money, but also set up their own business model to allow new types of investments, like specific maybe setting up some kind of fund for supporting long-term investments, funding the extra cost for some Cleantech investments, and also getting some revenue because of cost savings, for example, buildings, and to see some new inventions there. And also that you separate, there's an expression called SMEs, the small and mid-sized companies, but there's actually quite a big difference between a small company and a mid-size, where the small company probably doesn't have any revenue yet, but the mid-size does have a revenue. So what we need as a small company or as a mid-sized company is very different. So I think they should try to split them up.
And to all the panel members, please give me a sign when you want to come in here, if you have a comment on this. And I would just put, while you think, I would put a question to Igor as well, from a European perspective, your environmental technology plan perspective. In terms of capacity, would it affect you, or what would you have to do to sort of step up? Could you take this challenge as you are organized right now, or would it have to happen something and you have to expand yourself to be able to deliver?
I think that from the viewpoint of the European Commission, I think from the member states, it's very important for the governments not only to set the framework for the Cleantech sector, but also to act as a, let's say, leading customer, to be the driving force towards this transition. There's quite likely a lot of money coming into this sector right now, of course. Also considering the huge stimulus packages that we have, it's very important that this money is spent wisely, because there's an infrastructure lock-in always with the investments that we make. So I think this is particularly important. So being the lead customer, using something that we have been pushing also in the EU quite a lot, the green public procurement, which represents around 16% of European GDP, to really spend it in a way that, let's say, is beneficial for the environment, but also over the life cycle of a product or service is beneficial to the purchaser of the service or product. And this is very much what I think is being done right now at the European level. trying to look at the demand side policies that can shape the development of clean techs, the clean tech sector, or innovation in general. For example, if I can just give you a practical example, we are setting up now, for example, public purchasers networks in the biotech area, sustainable construction, where public purchasers get together and try to define common practices, common criteria for the public procurement process to actually push forward the green public procurement agenda.
Christian, please.
I would say mental capacity is an important part here, because most stakeholders haven't realized what challenge we are set in front of us. And usually most people are still sort of in a mode of sleepwalking. They are sort of doesn't realize what we're up for, or little too late, which means they are focusing in on small changes where we need to do massive change. And from a bigger company's point of view, we are seeing that we need a transformative change. The different sectors have to transformative change. And how to do that, and of course for business, we function best when we are pulled in a certain direction. When things are happening in the marketplace where we can respond to, that's when business become operational effective, they produce things. The push effect, it's a little bit more difficult, because usually that means that they get something for free. And the first products coming out then are usually having prime prices. The first customer has to pay much too much, and that might mean that the market doesn't take off. So in that respect, what the other stakeholders could help with is actually this pull effect and the market effect. The last point is, of course, that if you have a situation where the business have a short-term perspective, and most business have a short-term perspective, most sectors have a short-term, and the societal perspective must be long-term. There is a gap in between, and that has to be supported in one way or another. That's why you probably have to give incentive for certain change, even if the market is not up for it.